Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about the dynamics between a narcissist mindset and how they gain control, and the non-narcissist mindset and how they end up losing control of their own mind to a narcissistic person without even realizing. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. So when it comes to a narcissistic person, they lack the ability to take responsibility for their own behaviour. They lack the ability to be held accountable for their own behaviour. They go around blaming anybody and everybody. They go around blaming anything and everything else for the very things that are going wrong within their lives. Therefore, they don't feel like they have control over their lives because they're busy blaming everybody else and not looking at themselves. As they're busy blaming everybody else and not looking at themselves, they keep cycling around the same patterns of behaviour because they don't learn from the behaviour that they didn't take responsibility for, because they didn't take responsibility for it. Narcissistic people tend to be extremely negative people. They're always looking for more. They are extremely envious people. They're very self-entitled people. They show little gratitude towards others. They believe that all others should be grateful to them. However, that self-entitled hypocrite, they don't believe they should be grateful to others. Therefore, they're never looking at what people have done for them. They're never looking at the things in life that they can appreciate for themselves. They're always seeking more. And they lack empathy. They lack the ability to care for another person. They lack the ability to put themselves in another person's shoes. They lack the ability to think about how another person would feel in order to help that other person through their feelings. They lack the ability to recognise how their behaviour affects another person because they pass the responsibility for their behaviour over to the other person. However, they do have the ability to know how to leverage another person's emotions to work in the narcissist's favour, because they seek to control another person through emotional manipulation, by humiliating people's emotions, by downplaying people's emotions, by provoking people's emotions, by doing all they can to gain the emotional reaction the narcissist desires from that person, so that the narcissist can use that emotional reaction against that person to create an identity in that other person which isn't necessarily true, while selling an identity of themselves, the narcissist, to that other person, which also isn't true. They sell the other person an identity that mirrors who that other person is. Often why you will see a narcissist will change who they are depending who they are around, because they are impressing the person they are around based on who the person they are around is, so that the narcissist can influence that person into liking the narcissist, into believing the narcissist, so the narcissist can then exploit that person. The non-narcissistic person usually is someone who takes ownership of their own behaviour, who takes responsibility for their own behaviour, The non-narcissistic person is usually someone who is grateful for the little things, who looks for the things that they can appreciate within their life, looks for the things they can thank other people for, be grateful for. The non-narcissistic person is usually a very empathetic person who cares about another person's feelings, who wants to see other people be happy. And when you get the two mixed together, as a narcissist is seeking control, a narcissist can then use the fact that the non-narcissist takes responsibility for their own behaviour against them by using the emotions of the empathetic person against them to make that person feel grateful for what the narcissist doesn't even do for them. But those little things that the narcissist does, those future fakes to get their needs met in the present, they use these as leverage to make the non-narcissist feel gratitude towards the narcissist. A narcissist uses the pity plays of nothing is ever their fault to get the non-narcissist to feel sympathetic towards the narcissist. So the narcissist can use the empathy of the non-narcissist against the non-narcissist to gain what the narcissist wants from that individual person. And what we have to do is we have to learn to take ownership, be responsible for our own behaviour, our own life choices, and pass responsibility back to other people for theirs. This is incredibly difficult when you care about somebody that is brainwashing you, that is gaslighting you. It's difficult to recognise what they are doing to you and difficult to make the right choices because you are taking responsibility for not only your own behaviour but also their behaviour. And then you start to feel like you're losing control of your life. So more often than not, because you're grateful to that narcissist, you seek support and help from the narcissist, not realising that that narcissist is sinking you. Because as they're gaining control over you, you're losing control of yourself. You're losing control of your thought process. You're losing control of your emotions. And once you recognise what is happening to you, that's when you have the ability to make the right choices to suit you, to recognise that you have to save yourself. And when dealing with narcissistic people, when dealing with those who do not take responsibility for their behaviour, who are not grateful for the things you do for them and who lack empathy to care, you do have to find a safe way out of that situation, because you never know how somebody with those characteristics might respond or react when you distance yourself from them. So your safety comes first. Once you distance yourself from that person, you can begin to start to think clearer, because they're no longer controlling how you feel through their manipulative tactics. You can begin to listen to your instincts, past and present, to work through them, to be able to use them to benefit you in your present and in your future. It's okay to have empathy towards another person, but it doesn't mean you can save every other person. You cannot save somebody who's not willing to take responsibility for their own behaviour. And taking responsibility for their behaviour isn't going to save them, because they're not learning from their behaviour. All we can do is find the things within our life that we can be grateful for. Even those painful moments, find something that we can use as leverage to create our identity to work for us in the present, to help support us. Because when your identity is based on pain and trauma, it keeps you trapped in that pain and trauma. So it's finding something to give you enough leverage to move forwards. It's taking responsibility for your own behaviour, your own choices that you might not have been woke enough to recognise you were making at the time, but now you are awake, you can recognise and use that in your present to make the right choices to help you. And we all slip up, we all make the wrong choices now and again. The sooner we recognise we've made the wrong choice, the sooner we can make a decision to change direction and make the right choice. We also have to pass responsibility back to the rightful owner of their behaviour. With a narcissist, not directly, because they're just going to come at you with the word salad and twist it all onto how it's your fault and leave you feeling confused. Which is why learning about narcissism helps, because we can recognise their behaviour, recognise what they are trying to do to us, and then we can take responsibility for the choices we then make. When we don't know what someone is doing to us, it's very difficult to make the right choices. Your life is for you. You have to create your identity to work for you. You have to take responsibility of who you are as a person to make the right choices for you. You have to be the one that saves yourself. We can get the support, we can get the help. However, we have to put the work in to save ourselves. We have to put the work in to change our thought process. We have to put the work in on our emotional welfare to support ourselves, to understand what our emotions are teaching us, to understand what our instincts are teaching us. And the sooner we make a decision, the sooner we will recognise whether that decision was the right decision or the wrong decision. And then we need to make a new decision until we find what works for us. I shall add in the description the video on whose responsibility is it anyway, and the video on limiting beliefs to give you more understanding of those. Thank you very much for listening. If you do have any thoughts on this video, please add those into the comments and go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.